Hey everyone, welcome back to the Talking North podcast. After a 3-week hiatus, we are back. Just needed some time off from the pod, been very busy with university and work. But I'm happy to say that I'm back today to preview our AFLW season. And why shouldn't I? I feel our women's program is so brilliant, and I feel it would be a little bit ignorant and odd not to give our AFLW team the attention they deserve. So let's get started with this season's preview. So coming off 2 premierships in a row, undefeated since the 2023 grand final, our team is perfection. They are the benchmark in the AFLW, and I believe that they can win it again. To start off with, I want to talk about the arrivals and the departures of players in the off-season. To start off with, there was 4 players that left the club in the trade period. It was Neve Martin, Ariana Harrington, Ella Slocum, and Georgia Stubb. All players that didn't feature in either of our past 2 grand finals, I believe. At least not in 2025, so 4 players that obviously were looking to play football elsewhere, and happy that they've gotten their opportunities at other clubs. But yeah, they just, with the quality of our side, they just weren't able to make it. First up, I want to talk about Christy Lee Weston Turner. This has been a fascinating one over the last 2 years or so. So she was number 1 pick for the Bulldogs back in 2023. A talented, athletic forward drafted by the Dogs. She was only able to get 8 games in her first 2 years, struggled to find form in a struggling Bulldogs side. So she ultimately requested a trade to North Melbourne, and while we weren't able to get a trade over the line, she ended up nominating for the draft, and we got her at pick 37, which that just to me seems like a brilliant pickup, a former number 1 pick, and I think within our system, we've clearly shown that any player can work under this Darren Crocker system. I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen her play before, but from what I've heard from Tess Craven, from her interview with Josh from the Further North podcast, you guys should go check that out. She's, described Christy as a naturally skilled and athletic player. While she was drafted as a forward at the Dogs, she's been playing as a defender during the off-season. Whether or not she plays in round 1, I'm not sure, because looking at it, all of our departures were players that weren't in our team to conclude last season. The only player I'd say that wouldn't play from that game would be Amy Smith, who unfortunately did her ACL during pre-season. So whether or not that means Christy will play, I'm not sure, but she is a chance of round 1, but a great pickup, I think. Obviously, she's an extremely talented player that just didn't work out at the Bulldogs. Next up was Shauna McElliott, or Elligot. Sorry if I butchered that pronunciation. She was pick 49 in the draft, a small forward. Again, probably wouldn't make our round 1 team, but from what I know of her, talented small forward. Obviously, we drafted her for a reason. And then the last one, this is maybe the most exciting of them all, Sarah Wall. Yes, that name does sound familiar. Vicky Wall's sister has come over from Ireland to join our AFLW side. Extremely exciting. We all know how good Vicky Wall is, how damaging she is. What she did in the Ireland v Australia game, she was amazing. So Sarah Wall's been training as a defender and a winger. I doubt that she'll play this season. Again, back to what Tess Craven said in her interview with Josh, she's likely going to have a season that Blytheen Bogue had in her first year where she didn't play, because, coming from Gaelic football to AFL, got to learn the craft, and I think what she'll learn from watching the team play and probably being in the coach's box each week will be really valuable for her. So unsure whether or not she'll play this year, but a great pickup, I reckon. So yeah, they're the arrivals and departures. Now into some really key matchups this year. I think to start off, obviously we have to talk about round 1, a double header with our men's side at Marvel Stadium against Geelong. Extremely exciting. I think this is the first double header in North Melbourne history. I think it's a game, it's a day that I think every North fan should at least try to get to, and I think it's an amazing occasion. So Saturday, August 15th, 1pm at Marvel Stadium, we start our AFLW season. Geelong are actually the only team since 2023 that have not lost to us in terms of round 2 2024, we drew to them, and that was the last game that we didn't win. So Geelong in the past have been a pretty decent matchup for us, but I can't see us losing this first game. I think we will want to impress to start the season, and obviously we are such a strong side, so this will be awesome if we can get a good win to start the season, and then hopefully followed by the men. Probably less likely, but either way, it's going to be an amazing day, and I encourage every North Melbourne fan, if they can, to get down to it, because it's just such a special occasion for the club. The next big matchup comes in round 2, I'd say. Brisbane at Brighton Homes Arena. Obviously, the team that we've played in the last 3 grand finals, we've gotten the better of them in the last 2, but 2023 grand final, the last game, we've lost. They got the chocolates over us in a pretty devastating loss in that grand final, and I think that fueled the fire to beat them in the last 2 grand finals. So us and Brisbane, clearly the best 2 teams in it. I'd say if we're going to lose a game this season, it could be this one. But there's another one that I think will challenge us that I'll get to later. And then I've highlighted 3 other key games here. Our 3 games at Arden Street. For me personally, they'll be the 3 games I attend. I'll try to get to some other ones. Obviously, I'll be there round 1 at Marvel Stadium. But I think the 3 games at Arden Street are crucial because, that's our home. That's where we train. So round 5 against Carlton, Sunday, September 13th. Carlton are quite a good side. They had a really, really good season. They got their round 1 victory against Saints already this year. They got some extremely talented players. The Mackay sisters, Poppy Schultz, they're an extremely good side. Darcy Vesio as well. So I think they could be a team that challenges us as well. But as our first game at Arden Street, which comes in round 5, which is a bit odd to me, I think that's one that you should circle on the calendar. Round 8, our second game at Arden Street against Sydney. Sydney are a pretty solid side as well. They've got Chloe Malloy, who I reckon is one of the best players in the AFLW. So Sunday, October 4th, another game at Arden Street. And then our last game at Arden Street for the year, only 3, which is a bit disappointing, is Fremantle, who in the past have been a decent team, didn't have the greatest of seasons last season. That's Sunday, October 11th. Another important game, obviously, because AFLW is a shorter season than the men's. I think every game's pretty much an 8-pointer if you're going to have it as an equivalent to the AFL. So yeah, those are the 5 games that I'm kind of looking forward to. Obviously, other games are crucial. Another one I want to mention that might be the game that ruins our undefeated run is Melbourne at Casey. The reason I say that, Melbourne are obviously a strong side and have been throughout the whole history of the AFLW, but they were the team that was closest to beating us last season. We look back to the prelim final. That was a nervy one at Icon Park. Melbourne nearly beat us. They were ahead for most of the game, and we were able to get the job done by single digits. But Melbourne are a good team, and I think that game against Melbourne at Casey, I'm not sure which round it is in, but somewhere in the middle of the season, I think could be a game that we could slip up. And I think Melbourne will be really looking at that game as we want to break North Melbourne's streak. So do our girls have it in them to be able to have another season going undefeated? I absolutely think they do, but it's only going to get harder, and I do hope for the state of the league that the teams around us do get better. I really hope, because I think we are so far and away the best team in the league, and I do really want to see other teams get to our level. As Kate McCarthy said, we don't want to bring North Melbourne down. We want them to be the benchmark, and we want the other teams in the AFLW to go up to their level. And I think, obviously as a North Melbourne fan, I don't want us to get worse, and I don't think we will. I think we're only going to get better. But I do hope the likes of Melbourne, the likes of Brisbane, the likes of Carlton, the likes of Hawthorn and the Dogs, who I think will be the emerging teams this season, I do really hope they get better. And I do really hope that we can actually have some more competitive games this season. Yes, I'd love to go undefeated and win another premiership, but I think losing a game or 2 for the longevity of the AFLW could be better. But again, we can lose a few games in the home and away season, but when it gets to finals, I do not care. If teams are competitive with us or not, I want more silverware at Arden Street, and if I had to make a prediction, I think we finish first again, and I think we win another premiership. I hope this time we play a different team in the grand final. I hope maybe we get a Carlton or maybe a Hawthorn in the grand final. That would be awesome, rather than a Brisbane, who, all due respect to them, amazing side. I want to see someone else in the grand final if we are to make it again, which I believe we will. Some other predictions for the season, I think. In terms of a breakout player, I've mentioned her a few times already, but I think Tess Craven is going to take a huge leap this season. With Amy Smith going down, I think Tess Craven's got a big role on that wing now, alongside Taylor Gatt. But I think Tess Craven had an amazing season last season. She's gotten better every single year. This is the season I truly think she will become one of the best players in the AFLW. I think she's probably the best kick in our team. Her foot skills, her decision making is extremely impressive, and I think her defensive work's gotten better, and she can hit the scoreboard as well. Can't forget she kicked the first goal in the 2024 grand final. I think Tess Craven's going to be an All-Australian this season. I think she's going to have an absolutely huge year, and I think she will become one of the best players in the AFLW. I'm very confident in saying that. I think she's an absolute star. And then, this is wishful thinking, but I also think it is long awaited. I think Jazzy Garner will win the AFLW Best and Fairest. I think she has to. Ash had a year last year with Jazz missing a few games, but Jazz has come second time after time. She's won so many coaches' awards already. She's the best player in the AFLW. Everybody knows it. It's like the Bont in the AFL. She just hasn't gotten that main prize yet, and I think this will be the year she does. She's, by all accords, only getting better. She was won the best on ground in the Australia Island game. Everyone knows she's the best player in the league. I think it's about time she wins it, and I think this will be the year. And then, I think the three-peat's happening. I can't see a team beating us this season, and that feels great to say, really. So impressed every year with how we've improved, and I think will only get better. One final thing I wanted to touch on was, I think this is likely to be Emma Carney's last season, one of the greatest players in AFLW history, and I think a three-peat would be an amazing way for her to go out, and I think the eventual pathway for Emma Carney is to be the coach of our AFLW side. 100%, I can see it happening. She's probably the smartest player in the AFLW. She has some coaching reps in our men's side. She's done some work with our VFLW team as their head coach. I can see Emma Carney going from retiring this season, assistant coach for a year or two, maybe 3, and then eventually to take over Darren Crocker as our head coach, because she's an absolute superstar and probably got the best footy IQ in the AFLW. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. Glad to be back with the podcast to preview our AFLW season. I will try get some more pods out to conclude the men's season. I'll definitely do an end of season review, see what I'll do about the Geelong and Sydney games. But it's good to be back. And thank you guys for listening. Make sure you get down to the double header, North Melbourne and Geelong, AFLW at 1 p.m, and then followed by the men's game. It's going to be a huge day for the club, and I just encourage everyone to go because it's going to be massive. But thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.